Have you ever thought about what happens to your wealth after you're gone? It's an unsettling question, isn't it? But it's a crucial one that we must all ask ourselves at some point. It's about taking control of your financial future and ensuring your hard-earned wealth is managed and distributed as per your wishes. That's where financial planning enters the picture. It's not just about stashing away your money in a bank account or investing in stocks and hoping for the best. It's much more than that. Financial planning is a comprehensive, ongoing process that starts with setting goals, evaluating your current financial status, and creating a strategy to meet your future needs. It's about making your money work for you today, tomorrow, and even after you're gone. But here's the thing. Financial planning is not only about growing your wealth, it's also about protecting it. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong. They focus so much on accumulating assets that they overlook the importance of protecting them. Let's face it, in a world full of uncertainties, your assets are always at risk. They can be depleted by taxes, lawsuits, creditors, or even mismanagement. That's why asset protection is a critical component of financial planning. It's about putting mechanisms in place to shield your assets from such threats. One such powerful tool for asset protection is a trust. A trust is a legal arrangement that allows you to transfer assets to a trustee who holds and manages them for the benefit of your chosen beneficiaries. It's like a safe box where you can keep your assets, protect them from potential risks, and ensure they are distributed exactly as you wish. Financial planning, with a focus on asset protection, is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's not something reserved for the wealthy few. It's something everyone should consider, regardless of their financial status. So the question is not whether you need financial planning. It's how you can make it work best for you. Now you might wonder, why should I consider having a trust? Well, let's dive right into the heart of the matter. There are several compelling reasons to consider setting up a trust, and we're going to explore some of the key ones. First off, one of the greatest advantages of a trust is the ability to avoid probate. Now, probate is a legal process that validates a will and ensures the distribution of a deceased person's assets. It can be a lengthy, costly, and public process. With a trust, assets are transferred directly to the beneficiaries without the need for probate, saving time, money, and keeping your affairs private. Speaking of privacy, that brings us to our next point. A trust is a private document. Unlike a will, which becomes a public record once it goes through probate, a trust allows for a higher level of confidentiality. This means that the details of your assets and who you've chosen to leave them to are kept out of the public eye. Finally, a trust gives you an unrivaled level of control over your wealth. It allows you to specify exactly how, when, and to whom your assets should be distributed. For instance, if you have children or grandchildren, you could set up a trust to provide for their education, ensuring that the money is used for that specific purpose. Or perhaps you want to make sure your wealth is distributed gradually over time, rather than in a single lump sum. A trust can let you do that. In essence, a trust can be a powerful tool in your financial planning toolkit. It can provide protection for your assets, ensure they go to the right people at the right time, and give you the peace of mind that comes with knowing you've taken steps to protect your loved one's future. In other words, a trust gives you control, privacy, and peace of mind. At this point, you're probably asking, how does a trust work? Well, let's break it down. A trust is essentially a legal agreement involving three key players: the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiaries. The grantor is the person who creates the trust and transfers assets into it. These assets can include things like cash, real estate, stocks, bonds, businesses, and even life insurance policies. Then we have the trustee. This is the person or organization the grantor appoints to manage the trust. Their job is to handle the assets according to the grantor's instructions. The trustee has a legal responsibility, known as a fiduciary duty, to act in the best interest of the beneficiaries. They cannot use the trust's assets for their own personal gain. Speaking of beneficiaries, these are the individuals or organizations who will eventually receive the benefits from the trust. They could be the grantor's children, spouse, a charity, or even the grantor themselves in certain types of trusts. So how does the transfer of assets work? It's actually quite straightforward. The grantor transfers ownership of their assets to the trust. This means the assets are no longer personally owned by the grantor, but by the trust itself. Once the assets are in the trustee manages them. This could involve investing the assets, selling them, or using them to generate income. The income and principal can then be distributed to the beneficiaries in line with the grantor's instructions. For instance, the grantor might specify that the income from the trust should be used for their children's education, or that the principal should be distributed to the beneficiaries after the grantor's death. In essence, the trust acts like a rule book for the assets. It provides detailed instructions on how they should be managed and distributed, ensuring that the grantor's wishes are followed even when they are no longer around to enforce them. So a trust is not just a legal document, it's a tool that ensures your wishes are carried out. Despite the clear benefits, many people have misconceptions about trusts. It's a common occurrence, and today we're going to address some of these misunderstandings head-on. One of the most prevalent myths is that trusts are only for the ultra-wealthy. It's a classic stereotype, the rich and powerful stashing their vast fortunes in elusive trusts. But the reality couldn't be further from this. Trusts are not exclusive to the top 1%. In fact, they can be beneficial for individuals across a wide range of financial situations. Whether you're looking to protect your assets, plan for your retirement, or ensure your loved ones are taken care of after you're gone, a trust might just be the financial tool you need. Another misconception is that trusts are too complicated to set up. Sure, the world of finance can seem like a labyrinth of legalese and jargon, but setting up a trust doesn't have to be a Herculean task. With the guidance of a financial advisor or an attorney, the process can be streamlined and manageable. You'll need to make decisions about who will benefit from the trust, who will manage it, and what assets will be included. But remember, these are decisions you would need to make with any form of financial planning. Some people also believe that once you place assets into a trust, you lose all control over them. This is not necessarily true. Depending on the type of trust you set up, you can retain a degree of control over your assets. A revocable trust, for instance, allows you to alter or terminate the trust during your lifetime. Finally, there's the misconception that trusts are a way to avoid taxes. While trusts can offer certain tax advantages, they are not a magic bullet for tax evasion. It's important to consult with a tax advisor to understand the potential tax implications of setting up a trust. So, don't let misconceptions keep you from considering a trust. It's all about understanding your options and making informed decisions. After all, financial planning is not a one-size-fits-all endeavor. Let's recap what we've learned about trusts. Over the course of this video, we've explored the world of financial planning, where a trust plays a significant role. This powerful tool is not just for the super wealthy, but for anyone who wishes to ensure their assets are handled according to their wishes. We've delved into the benefits of having a trust, which are numerous. From avoiding probate, a lengthy, public, and potentially expensive legal process, to having control over how your assets are distributed, a trust offers security and peace of mind. Trusts also provide a layer of protection against creditors and lawsuits and can reduce estate taxes, making them a valuable asset in any financial plan. We've also discussed how trusts work. In essence, a trust is a legal entity that holds assets for the benefit of others. The person who creates the trust, the trustee, transfers ownership of their assets into the trust. The trustee then manages these assets for the beneficiaries, who are the people the trust creator wants to benefit. We've addressed some common misconceptions about trusts. They're not just for the wealthy or the elderly. They're not overly complicated or difficult to set up. And they're not set in stone. Many trusts can be revised or even revoked if circumstances change. Now, this is a lot to take in. Trusts are a complex area of financial planning, but they're incredibly valuable, so don't be daunted. If you're considering a trust, it's important to seek professional advice. Every person's situation is unique, and a professional can help determine if a trust is the right tool for you. Remember, it's not just about building wealth. It's about protecting it and ensuring it goes where you want it to.